All right, welcome to the final scenario in our course. And this one is called Verb Inverter, or Data Transformation with AI. So you can think of this as AI granting you a Harry Potter style wand, where you can transform almost any kind of data input into any kind of data output. And this is because we may need to do this for a few different reasons. So sometimes it's easier to consume information in a different medium than the one it came in. Or sometimes we just need to output information in a different format than what it came in. So in a previous scenario, we talked about turning YouTube videos and podcasts into short text summaries, right? But what about other mediums into other mediums, or even different subformats within mediums? So emails into newsletters, into articles, into blog posts, into other things. So all this is done through clever prompting, through providing context, through telling the AI about the input data and what format it's in, through specifying the output format, and pro tip here, give it whole examples, and I'll show you what that means in our example section, and specifying the objective of the output. So let's get straight into it. I'm going to start with a bit of a silly example and then show you something a bit more serious. Okay, here we are in the browser, and for this one I'm actually going to use ChatGPT, and I will show you why. So what I'm going to do is, let's grab, you know what, I am just going to grab the top article here on the royal visit to Australia. All right, let's do it. Copy. And I'm going to say, can you please turn this news article into a rap song in the style of Grandmaster Flash for me? And paste the news article. Let's see what ChatGPT says. All right, so I am not going to wrap this, but here you go, royal visit wrap. And it's basically converted what it is, a serious news article or set of news articles, into a rap song. Now, the reason I used ChatGPT for this one is because I specified the name of the artist to follow, Grandmaster Flash. Claude actually won't let you do that. ChatGPT will, so that's just one difference between the two models. And I know this is a silly example, but we are talking about data transformation, about turning one format of text into a different output format of text. Now let's look at a more practical example. And I want to look at something marketing related. For example, you may need to generate social media posts or internal stakeholder presentations from some kind of text source, right? So in this case, I'm actually going to take one of the blog articles that I wrote probably a long time ago and turn it into an email newsletter. Let me paste in my prompt. So I'm going to go through this prompt with you. It's actually a bit of a long prompt, but it follows all the principles that we've talked about in this course. So I need your help to draft an email newsletter. All right, here's the name of the newsletter. There's my context. Talks about personal productivity, time management, business productivity, and business ops. Provides 3 tips. So this is specifying the output format. It's written in Aussie manner. Yep, don't use Aussie colloquialisms because I don't want to just start with "g'day" on every single one. And here we go. Here's an example of a past edition. So what I did here was I actually pasted in a newsletter that I handwrote myself a while ago to give the AI a format to follow, right? I've even told the AI, here is the structure of the newsletter, the subject line, hey name, 1 tip here, 1 tip, 1 tip. And then I told the AI, I want you to write the newsletter, but first I want you to prompt me to paste in the source material. And then I want you to do this. I want you to write the newsletter, keep it under 500 words. Subject line should tease the content. At the bottom, give me some ideas for images, but don't generate them. And to use British spelling, because that's what I write in. All right, let's paste that in. Yep, okay, it's asking me for the source material. All right, so let's go here and pick one of these. Let's just pick this one, the hierarchy of communication. Okay, I am just gonna copy in all my content. You notice that I haven't included the visual content here. You can do that if you want an even more accurate article. For this example, I will not do that. I'm just going to paste this in here. All right, let's do it. All right, let's start going through. Subject, why you shouldn't email your team, what to do instead. Good, catchy, copy line will get people to open the email. Tip 1 on productivity. Here's the 6-level communication pyramid. Tip 2 on operations, no internal email. And tip 3, choose your channel wisely. So the interesting thing about this is that I theme my newsletters around productivity, business ops, and tech. And it's actually picked the source material and tried to allocate the meaning of the different sections in the source material to these particular sections, which is great. This is what AI excels at. And suggested images, the diagram, yep, Slack workspace, split screen, these are all great. So now I actually handwrite all my newsletters manually every single week. But imagine you work for a company and you're in charge of preparing the newsletter every single week, or maybe it's twice a week. What would normally be a maybe 6, 8, 10-hour process of combining different pieces of content that the company's made during the week and then cutting that into a newsletter can now be done in 30 minutes or less using an AI prompt, which is pretty amazing, right? Now, what I would do is I would still take the output here and of course edit it and make sure it's good and in the right images, add in formatting, correct things as needed, so on and so forth. And maybe even I would provide more than one source material, provide in multiple source materials and let the AI decide which ones to feature in the newsletter. Okay, let's look at a slightly different example. And for this one, we are going to go to Reddit again. Let's do that. I'm going to go to Ask Reddit. I'm going to pull up, let's do top for this week. Okay, let's go with, this one should be funny. Who's an actor that makes everything worse? They are in. All right, let's go to the prompt. Okay, so here's a copy paste of a Reddit thread's comments. Can you please create a CSV file consolidating the opinions so that I can present to my team? All right, let's copy in the title of the thread. This is to provide the AI with context. And then I'm going to paste in the comments. Let's load all the comments first. Let's actually, oops. Let's grab all of this, copy, and paste. Okay, it's going to create a CSV file that organizes these opinions on actors, including the vote counts to help quantify sentiment. So that's interesting that Reddit, that the AI uses Reddit vote counts. So if you downloaded this file and then open it up in say Excel or Google Sheets, you'll get the actor in one column, upvotes in a second, key criticism comments in the third column or subsequent columns, which is kind of cool, right? You can summarize textual content into a spreadsheet format. So let's take this one step further. Let's say, is it possible to create an interactive artifact from the data? Okay, and here the AI has built an interactive dashboard, which you can sort by alphabetical order, number of upvotes. You can't sort by key criticisms, obviously. It's showing 15 actors total. It's got a search function in here, which is all pretty cool. And a great example of how you can turn data from one source into a different format. Okay, that is it for this scenario on how to transform data from one format into a different format using AI.